after Key West, where I drank at least a bottle of vodka a day, at least. So after a year and a half, I came back.
That doesn't sound like a lot to me. And I'm being serious. Is like Leanne.
Just so you know, that's a lot for a human being.
But I mean, Porosos comes in 3 sizes, and the smaller vodka,
This is not a commercial.
Fully Loaded at Sea is back. Bigger, boozier, and birdier. November 19th to 23rd, 2026, Miami to Cozumel on the Norwegian Jewel. Me, Whitney Cummings, Big J. Okerson, Miss Pat, Felipe Esparza, Joe DeRosa, Rosebud Baker, Catherine Blanford, Shane Torres, Dave Williamson, Ian Finance, Cypher Sounds, The Docksiders, and DJ Airwolf, and many more. Every day will be packed with live comedy shows, live podcasts, theme night, karaoke held by my wife every night at midnight, gambling, the tattoo parlor, and wild onboard events like the belly flop contest, the Speedo contest, smallest dick on the boat, beer run, and game night. Shirts are optional, hangovers are questionable, swinging is encouraged, but we are guaranteed to drink this boat dry. You're not going to want to miss it.
Book now at BertKreischerCruise.com.
Dude, Barry Bonds, I like Barry Bonds.
I've heard, I don't know. But yeah.
I met him one time, and I was with a guy who had met him, and he said, I said, what's Barry like? And he goes, he's a dick. And I was like, really? And I was like, yeah, everyone's got their Dick Barry Bonds story. And I wanted a Dick Barry Bonds story. He and I got along.
Yeah.
We got along, and it was really fun. I ended up watching a baseball game with him, and Barry Bonds he is so intelligent in baseball.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, he grew up around the game his whole life.
And he
started, right?
Yeah. Do you know what's so funny? He said something, which is, I watched this documentary on A-Rod. You've known a lot of famous people. Probably easily more than I have.
I don't know, easily.
You walked in the shadows of famous people. Like the Paris Hilton age was like that was like the craziest.
Yeah, I've had crazy shit. Yeah. I mean, I've met a lot of people.
You met a lot of narcissists, probably.
A lot of what?
Narcissists.
I mean, not really.
I'm weird about the term narcissist because it's been co-opted by the internet to be always negative. And there's some really positive. Like I'm sure Teddy Roosevelt was a narcissist.
Well, there's a difference between ego and narcissism and confidence. People misconstrue, they'll go like, oh, this guy's, look at his fucking egomaniac. And it's like, no, some people are just confident.
Yeah.
And then that gets misconstrued. But also, it's funny because people always go like, everybody wants to know who's the dick. That's the number one question.
Yeah.
If you're famous and you know famous people, they're like, who's the dick? And I swear to God, I'm not just saying this. 99% of the people I've met are fucking cool. And it's like, I'm in those circles, so they're not going to be a dick. But like, I don't see glimpses of them being rude to people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's funny. And then
people want, why do people want to find out someone's a dick? They want it. They root for it.
Yeah,
they're
they're
he's a
so
bad person,
fascinated by it. And it's funny that you say that about Barry Bonds, because I always threw that out the window when people go like, oh, yeah, I heard so-and-so's a dick. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, I heard blah, blah. And I'm like, well, like, for instance, I was going to the airport in New York, and I was in a cab back in the day. And this cab driver goes, hey, you're an actor. I've seen your movies. And I go, yeah. He goes, can I get a photo with you? And I go, yeah. And he goes, you want to know who's a fucking dick? And I go, who? And he goes, Steve Martin. And I go, really? Steve Martin? I go, I don't know him, but he seems cool. And he goes, no, he was in my cab, and I wanted a photo. And he goes, no, I'm late for my flight. I got to go. And I was like, oh, well, fuck this guy. And I'm like, wait, what? He said he was late for a flight. He ran out of your cab. And it was just like, come on. And so now that guy is going around being like, fuck that dude.
It's interesting because you want to, like, there's people, there are people that I go in comedy that I don't know, that I go, fuck that guy. He's probably an asshole. He's a fucking dick. I don't know. I don't like that guy. And then you run into him, and he's the nicest guy in the world, and you're like, fuck, I love that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like I'll use this is an easy example, I think, for anyone in comedy to use, but like the Always Sunny guys, right?
Right.
They lived in their own island. Like, they did their own thing. They didn't really hang out in the clubs the way we did, and so you didn't really know them. So it's very easy to be like, that guy fucking Rob guy, dude, fuck him. Fuck him. You know what? He's an ass. I bet he's a dick. He's married to that Caitlyn. And you know what? They're lucky they got that show. They're all fucking buddies. One of them, you know what? Fuck that guy. And then I met him and I was like, he's the greatest guy in the world.
Yeah, he's super
He's
cool.
so cool. And his wife's even cooler.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, there were people that I was like, I don't really vibe with that, but I was never like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was on a flight recently, and this is how crazy it is. So I'm on a flight, I get off, I've got my headphones on, and I'm in the tunnel getting off the plane. And this kid goes, hey man, can I get a photo with you? And I go, yeah. But I was like motioning to him, I'm like, like that to get out of the tunnel. So we're fucking leaving. So we get out, I take my headphones out, I look for him, I can't find him. And then I see him walking away and I go, oh shit. So I run up behind him. As I'm running up behind him, he's already on his phone and I hear him go, he's a fucking prick. Yeah, it's a fucking prick. And I go, tap him on the shoulder, true story. And I go, hey, were you talking about me? And the guy goes, huh? And I go, hey, yeah, we were just on the tunnel. I wanted to get out of the way. Do you want the photo? Who the fuck were you just telling I was a dick to? And he goes, oh, no, it's my sister. No, it's cool. Blah, blah, blah. And I go, dude, what the fuck is that about? I chased you down so you could get your photo and you just immediately, and he was like, oh, okay. Sorry. And I'm like, dude, you can't just, you know what I mean? I literally like made an effort. I was just like, no, we got to get out of the way of people. I don't know. It's funny.
It's interesting
horrifying,
to see
funny.
Especially like back when I was a child, if people recognize someone, you'd be like, oh, who is he? And then you had to do your racist math. You're like, if he's a black guy, he's probably an athlete. Like that's how it worked when I was a child.
In Florida, yes. That's Florida. Key to tell everybody.
Yeah. In Florida, the greatest city in the world.
It's a city now.
And you're like, if it's a beautiful girl, it's an actress or a model.
Right.
If it's a man with a mustache, he's a musician. Like you had to do that. And now I was on a plane and a guy was sitting, I'm sitting in 2A, guy's sitting in 1A, and I'm only saying the numbers so you know where he was sitting. So, or not, he's in 1B, 1C, whatever. So we're both aisles.
Yeah.
And he's in front of me. And he's got his laptop open with pictures of me. And I'm like, and I'm looking at him. And then we went to the bathroom like at the same time. And he didn't say anything. And I was like, are you going to like, do you want me to recognize me for you? Like,
was he looking you up or was he just watching your stuff?
He was looking me up.
That's hilarious.
He was looking me up. He was like, who is this guy? Some people are seeming to know him.
Yeah. That's great. So you never talked to him?
Never talked to him. Not once.
Dude, you should have just fucking covered his mouth right from behind. Be like, hey, motherfucker, I'm the machine.
Hey, I wanted, one time I was working out in the gym with Bobby Flay.
Okay.
And I got up behind him and I was going to whisper in his ear. I was going to get right up behind him and go, hey, you, in his ear. But I didn't know him.
Right.
But I thought, if it's the guy I think he is, he'll love it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It could go either way, though. It could really be
either way.
horrifying.
I've got a great Bobby Flay story.
Yeah. Either way, it's a story for the stage.
So I started getting up behind him, and I realized as I got really close to him, there was a mirror. He was working out in front of a mirror. I didn't put the mirror in him, and I got up behind him, and it was really uncomfortable. And then I just walked past. And that night we went to dinner together. He was like, you were in the gym today? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I saw you. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, you were like right behind me. And I was like, can I tell you what I was going to do? And he was like, what? And I said, I was going to whisper in your ear, hey, you. And he goes, I would have loved that. And I was like, God. I should have fucking done it.
I like how you didn't know how a mirror worked.
No.
What the fuck?
No, it's just, I saw him working out and I was like, I'm going to go up right behind him. And as I walked up behind him and I turned to get behind his back, I realized there's a fucking wall of mirror. And I was like, he sees me. The surprise is gone.
Oh my God. We should also start with how we know each other, how long we've known each other.
Do you think people think that we don't?
I think it's super funny because we've known each other almost 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
So people don't realize the comedy community is so tight knit, and we all know each other, and we go back far with each other. And like, I'll make fun of like David Spade's one of my best friends. I've known David for a long time, and I'll make fun of him online. Like I'll roast him on a post that he does, and then I'll get people commenting on me on my post, and they'll be like, "Hey, fuck you, man. David's funnier than you are. You fucking leave him alone and stuff. And I'm like, what are you, I know this guy. Like that's what we do. Like, I think I've even made fun of you on posts. I made fun of everybody. I love doing that. There's nothing funnier. Like, I think when you and Tom ever post something, I always have some comment. I always like throw like something funny, but it's like people get like bent out of shape because they don't realize the history that everybody has.
I've told you this before, the first words you ever said to me. I wonder the first words you ever said to me. I know I've said this to you. Do you know what they were?
I can't remember.
Do you like Oasis?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Do you like Oasis?
And I was like, yeah.
Because that was around the time when they were fucking massive.
Oh.
So everybody was all about Oasis. I was like a big
only
nerd.
did Coke then to listen to Oasis.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was never a big Coke guy, but like Liam Gallagher.
Let's extinguish that rumor. People think you're a Coke guy.
People do, and it's fucking weird. I did a video years ago. It was like one of the early viral videos, and it was called A Day in the Life of Normal Regular Nick Swardson or something like that. And it was just a spoof on how people think all you do when you're famous is cocaine and get fucked up. So I just did a thing spoofing that where I'm just high on cocaine, but it's not really cocaine, but it's a cartoonish amount of me during my day on coke. So then I guess that followed me around, but I talk about not doing it. I never, we'll talk about drinking in a minute, but like, I never was one of those guys that like got drunk and then like needed coke. Like I wanted to pass out.
Thank God. Like I
thank God we weren't like that.
Thank God.
Yeah, we'd be fucking dead.
Can you imagine? And I do want to talk about recovery. I've gotten a lot of shit online because I've said some wild shit. Now, mind you, I am not drinking right now, but I'm not sober, and I have no plans of being sober for the rest of my life. And so I'm Bert. I'm going to always drink. I'm not drinking right now because I'm on blood thinners. But I've said some wild shit. However, certain times things hit me as a regular person would, and whenever I hear anyone's drinking stories online, I usually do not connect with them at all. I have zero connection. I don't understand how they got there. I don't understand why they didn't do this or how they weren't in the gym. Your drinking stories are the only ones I connect with a little bit. And then there's one the other night I'm watching, and there's this of a woman who is, and I empathize for her husband so much. And she was like, I want to show you it was in writing, a glimpse of the toxic relationship I've been in with this alcoholic. And she cuts her phone around a corner, and it's him in the kitchen listening to the Grateful Dead at like 5 a.m, 4 a.m, and his head's bad. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I love that guy. I love that guy so much. And I was like, I want to rescue him. I want to grab him and go, hey, she's gone. You don't need to drink like that anymore. She's not filming us. Like I understood that guy so much. I was like, dude, my favorite thing in the world was to like, when the family's asleep and I'm the only one awake on a Sunday night in a hotel room, to listen to music and get really deep into alcohol and music. Now listen, also, I got to preface this with anyone dealing with recovery, probably stop listening to the podcast right now. This is going to be wildly triggering because I'm not a professional and Nick is sober. Nick is not a professional either.
I would say I'm not a professional, but I would say if you're in recovery, I don't know if I would turn this off, because what I'm going to talk about is we're going to talk about this very loose and stuff, very casual, but I want that to be relatable. I haven't had a drink in a year and 3 months. But that's just a drink. But right. I technically haven't gone on a bender or really drank for almost 2 years. So we'll get into that. But I think it is really important, my perspective, because we share a very similar path where we were very, very fun drunks. And we have great fan bases.
Yes.
And we love going out. And we love bars.
We didn't dislike our fans. We didn't dislike people.
We fucking loved it.
We loved meeting people in bars. Airport bars were the funnest.
Yeah. I mean,
and I think what I was going to say was we're very lucky we didn't catch the cocaine buzz. The people that needed cocaine.
Right.
My heart breaks for them because that's such a weird itch.
It's brutal. I have friends that still, but also just drinking alone, we're lucky to be alive. I mean, I for sure am lucky. I mean, and we'll get into that. I just want to make sure people know Bert and I met in New York City in the late 90s. And I had just moved to New York from Minnesota. And you had just moved from Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had not started comedy yet. I had already started comedy in 96. So you were a dude that was like, what is this? I want to do this. Like, you were super fired up.
I was hanging out at the Boston Comedy Club. And the
Boston Comedy Club was in New York.
I was 25 years old and I was about to turn 26. And when I turned 26, I started working the door. But I think when I turned 26, you were in LA for pilot season.
Yes.
And so, and I don't think you were drinking then, to be honest with you.
I wasn't a big drinker back then.
No.
And then you had already had, when did the article in Rolling Stone come out?
In 1997, Rolling Stone magazine came out and called me the #1 party animal in the country.
So that was Bert's fucking hook. When he came to town, everybody was like, who is this guy? And you were super cool, man. You were so nice. You still are. You're still like one of the most chill, real guys.
I don't think, not to suck each other's dicks, but I don't think either of us have changed all that much.
I don't think so at all.
I mean,
honestly.
maybe flawed. I think that
we've learned and grown, but I mean, like at the core, it's like I get really offended if somebody tells me that someone says like I'm super Hollywood or I'm a dick or I'm like, oh yeah, you think it's like what? Like, what are you talking about?
You know when you finally finish work for the day and you just want to unplug for a bit. What a great feeling is that? And then you realize, oh, wait, I got to drive around looking for some random smoke shop to pay or overpay for something behind some counter and hope it's legit. No, thanks. You deserve better than that. That's why I started using the Everything 420 app. Think of it like this. It's Amazon, but for all your smoking essentials. They've got legit brands that you already know, like Cookies, Stizzy, Packwoods, Runts, Cake, and everything quality checked so you're never guessing. The app makes it super easy too. You can browse flower, vape, edibles, cartridges, pre-rolls. I got the best vape out of here that's no longer in here. I took it home with me. And it's basically everything and whatever you're looking for. And it ships right to your door. And yes, it ships discreetly. Plain packaging. Nobody knows what's inside. Not the mailman, not your neighbor, not you, Susan. You know who you are, Susan. Leanne hired this new lady, Susan, that comes by our house and brings our bags in and then opens them every now and then. It's none of your business, Susan. Anyway, one of the fun things about the app is their mystery box. You pick a category, edibles, vapes, bongs, cartridges, and then they send you a surprise box packed with way more value than what you paid for. It's perfect if you want to try new things or just spice up your weekend a little bit. If you've been working hard and you want your downtime to actually feel like downtime, that's the reason you want to buzz. You got to check out the Everything 420 app. Use code BERT for 15% off and enjoy your weekend. I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. Look, I love taking care of my lawn. I abuse hoses. I drag them everywhere, across the asphalt, under tires. I tug it this way, I tug it that way, but the Pocket Hose Ballistic handles all of it. This hose has changed my landscaping life. It is super durable, lightweight, and makes this chore a breeze. There's a couple things I'm obsessed about, and hoses is #1. Vacuums, hoses, lawnmowers. When we talk about certain little products, I can't get enough. And the Pocket Hose is the #1 expandable hose I've ever used. And I would say it's the #1 expandable hose in the world. It's super lightweight, easy to manage, super easy to store. You just turn on the water and it grows, and then turn off the water and it goes back to what it was, pocket size. The Pocket Hose Ballistic is reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer used in bulletproof vests, making the anti-burst sleeve practically bulletproof. And that liquid crystal polymer fiber is actually 5 times stronger than steel. That's the truth. And now for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text BERT to 64,000. That's BERT to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Bert to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. Let's put in perspective. This is going to be a great podcast. I'm already doing a great job. Let's put in perspective, because you, out of Hollywood success, you've probably had the most meteoric, crazy Hollywood experience in life, and that anyone could have, really, honestly. But I think that's important for people who are like, wait, how do I know, I just watched his special, but wait, I didn't know this about you. Like, you came out, you did a pilot, you booked Greg Giraldo's pilot, correct?
Well, I would start from the very, very beginning.
You were the Barks guy.
No, even before that.
Wait, what was that?
Well, no. So I started February 12th. I did an open mic in Minneapolis, Acme Comedy Company, February 12th, 1996. And my goal, I had read an article about the HBO Aspen Comedy Festival, which is one of the biggest things you could get as a comedian. Everybody did it. It was Aspen and Montreal were two massive life-changing comedy festivals. So I did an open mic in February, and then I won a contest and got the festival in October of the same year. Whoa. So I got picked after 6 months of my first open mic as one of the top young comics in the country, and I was fucking 19. So I'd been doing stand-up 6 months. I'm 19 years old, and all of a sudden I'm at an HBO festival. I have agents and managers calling me, and all of a sudden I'm off to the races as a fucking 19-year-old who barely graduated high school. And then it was like game on. Then it became, I got a huge commercial campaign. I got television pilots. I got my first comedy special when I was 22. I mean, it was like fucking crazy.
You were like, I remember you just had such, you and Dimitri Martin were the two guys I watched just take off right out of the gates. Just so good at stand-up, so dialed into your voice, so comfortable on stage, so identifiable with, even like your fashion choices were like, they weren't even fashion choices. It was just who you were.
Weird. Yeah, I was just like, whatever.
Like, it was like a t-shirt that barely fit. It looked like you slept on a couch and you woke up, your hair's everywhere,
Yeah,
and you just destroyed.
I was a fucking lunatic. I was so physical.
And then I remember we had the same manager, Vincent Nastri.
Yeah, who's great.
Who's the best. And I remember like just little things. When you have a manager and I was doing okay. I had a development deal at Overbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was doing, I actually, I take that back. I should say this in defense of every comic that watched us, was like, I was doing stand-up 6 months and then got a development deal at Overbrook.
Yeah.
And so like we both had kind of take off careers.
Yeah.
And I remember Vincent would just be like, you had the best fucking promo photo, and it was you with all the brands tatted on you like Tupac. Do you remember this?
Yeah, totally.
I wish I could see. I remember seeing that and going, that's so fucking badass.
It was an old poster, and I was so obsessed with Tupac. I love Tupac. So I made one of me shirtless, and I had fake tattoos, but it was like Comedy Central, and it was like all these like jokes, and it was like a thugged out comedian.
It was great.
And it was
what
just,
Riff Raff looks like now. The rapper
yeah,
Riff Raff.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so that was one of my first like promo photos. And I had like a do-rag and everything.
And then he gave me a script called Suckers.
Yeah, which became Malibu's Most Wanted.
But that I think is important. You know, when I look at your digital footprint these days, there's so much fun on it. But I think sometimes people have slept on the crazy career you've had.
Yeah, I mean, they can sleep on it. I don't care. I mean,
I think it's worth like Grandma's Boy. It will go down in history as, when people go cult classics.
Yeah,
there are like just a handful.
Yeah,
and Grandma's Boy. I brought it up on the when Theo and David Spade's movie came out.
Oh yeah,
everyone's like, yeah, there's going to be a cult classic. You know, it's like it's got all the right recipes for a cult classic. And I was like, what's the last cult classic? And they were like, well, no, the cult classic is Grandma's Boy. And I was like, really? And they're like, dude, I got to be honest with you, I've never seen Grandma's Boy, and I bought it on my phone to watch on a plane. But I was like, I got to watch this. Everyone's like, we reference Grandma's Boy. Like all the comics on, how crazy is it that all the comics on my tour are sitting there saying Grandma's Boy is the greatest movie ever made. And you made that. That was Sandler had the project, saw you do stand-up, said this guy can come in and fix this script. You went in, doctored up the script, fucking make the movie. It's a cult classic. And then Sandler goes, I want to make movies with you for the rest of my life. And you're like, okay.
It was wild. And him and Alan Covert, it was his movie. And
I love Alan Covert.
Alan's great. And they had this script and they were like, Sandler saw my original Comedy Central special on TV and I talked about my grandma. So they were like, we have the script, Grandma's Boys. So they brought me in.
That was me and my buddy Eddie Fernandez. If I call Eddie Fernandez right now and I'm sitting with Nick Swardson and I go, Nicholas.
Yeah, I still to this day when I tour, that special came out in 2000 and I still have people in the crowd 26 years later go, Nicholas,
you're the strongest boy in the world.
So they brought me in, PG-13.
This milk, Grandma?
This gallon? So yeah, they brought me in and I rewrote it, made it rated R and crazy. And I knew when we shot it, I loved it. And I knew this movie was going to bomb, but I knew that it was going to, once it hit DVD, people would find it. And so they did. And then now, actually right now, the script I wrote after Grandma's Boy, me and Covert wrote another one and we're making it right now. It's not a sequel at all, but it's another rated R, crazy fuck, character dialogue driven. So we're really, really excited. And that comes with being sober now. And like, I've got 3 scripts. I've got a TV show I created. It just opens the floodgates for really taking a hold of your life. And we can obviously
Alan
get into
Covert
that.
has one of the best sober stories I've ever heard.
Jesus, which...
Let's see if we can get him on the phone. I don't want to tell the story because I'm afraid. Because in this...
He's busy, dude.
There's no way.
He's always like, he's in the middle of a lot of stuff.
All right, I'm going to tell it. Alan, you tell us if you wanted to take it out. And if you don't hear the story, that means Alan doesn't want to take it out. Alan wanted to take it out. So Alan Covert's sober. He doesn't drink. He hadn't drank in a long time.
Like 30, 40 years.
30, 40 years. His wife walks out on him and leaves him. He's divorced, correct?
Yes.
And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. And he grabs it's the one time he drank, grabbed a bottle of whiskey, sat in an Adirondack chair at his house and just murdered a bottle of whiskey. And he goes, nice. Never touched it again. He was just like, this deserves this.
Yeah, he told me that.
Yeah, and I love that story because I go, I like that. I love that you were like, you know what? This is a divorce that deserves whiskey. It doesn't deserve sober. It deserves anger and fucking frustration and crying and all the shit that a divorce deserves. And then woke up the next day and never touched it again.
Yeah.
I love that story. And we'll run it by Alan if he's cool with us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he called me and he was like, dude, he was like all excited. He thought I'd be really proud of him. He's like, I chugged a bottle of whiskey. And I was like, why, are you all right? Like,
he told me that. He was like, you're sober, right? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, dude, Alan Covert, he's the best.
He's great.
And by the way, that whole group, what a blessing to get. It's almost like in Game of Thrones, you picked the Starks to get involved with.
Right.
That's a weird reference.
No, but it's legitimate. Yeah, it was like being drafted by the Yankees. It was like all of a sudden I'm just like chilling and then, and luckily I had the skill set of like being a writer and stuff like that. And also the real skill set was I grew up watching those guys. So when Sandler called me and he's like, hey, I have this idea for a movie called Benchwarmers. And I'm like, what is it? And he told me the idea and he told me who he wanted. And then me and Covert wrote the script, but I love writing dialogue. So I wrote David Spade's part. And I remember David called me and he was like, dude, I've read so many scripts throughout the years. How in the fuck does this sound exactly like me? The jokes, the tone. And I was like, I grew up watching you guys. So it was a really easy fit to kind of write their sensibility formed who I was. So, and a lot of young people don't realize Saturday Night Live in the 90s was fucking Adam Sandler and David Spade and Chris Rock and Mike Myers, Chris Farley. I mean, it was like fucking bangers.
It's
dude.
interesting because, and I mean this with absolutely zero shade if it comes off as that towards the current cast, but they're doing a lot of promo for the cast of Saturday Night Live because the new cast, new season, I think it just started or something maybe. And so like I saw like the 5 women on Saturday Night Live were like on a panel and they're like hot ones, questions if you could date one person on the cast, who would it be? If you had to make out with one person on the cast. And I thought to myself, I don't want to know this much about Sarah Sherman. Because I didn't know this much about Chris Farley. And I didn't know this much about Adam Sandler. And I didn't know this much about even fucking Maya Rudolph or anyone. This generation of SNL is very enmeshed into social media because most of them started there.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I think it's going to be interesting to see the way this plays out because those guys are my heroes because I still don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Even Spade, like, and I know David, but I still don't, there's like still like a mysterious thing about him.
Yeah, completely.
And even like Tina and Rachel Dratch and Molly Shannon and all these, Will Ferrell, they were hidden from us. They were kept like diamonds. The way De Beers does diamonds is that, you know, they have a ton of them, but they only show you what they're going to sell so that they can control the price of diamonds.
Right.
And Lauren did that with talent. He controlled the price of talent. He controlled the talent, which was good for some or great for some and bad for others. But now with this new cast, they're kind of flooding the market with diamonds. And I'm like, huh.
I mean, you're just adapting, dude. It's like I had lunch today and the waiter was an actor and he's like, hey man, do you have any advice? And that's a common thing. And I literally did, I'm almost 50 years old. And I looked at him honestly, I go, you know what? Just confidence. You really, and I go, it sounds cliche, but you really believe in yourself, be multifaceted, write ideas down. But I go, dude, I started in the fucking 90s. So like my perspective, I am so behind on social media. I'm not on TikTok. I mean, I feel bad because I don't, you know, and the guy was like, okay. And you know, he was taking classes and I'm like, yeah. And I go, just have a online presence, like make short films and stuff like that. But it's so funny because it's just a world I don't know. I'm not great at it. And I don't know how to tell people how to like, we used to have to make VHS tapes. You were lucky you would have to find a cameraman to go to Caroline's or whatever the fuck in New York and get a good tape. The comic strip, they would have a VHS tape recorder and you would put it in.
Eddie Brill.
And you would fucking record it and just hope it looks good.
And you know, we got the blessing of people feeling like they discovered us. Like that's a weird thing is like no one really discovers anyone because everyone's already out there. And it's like, I remember going into an interview or going into an audition after you.
After me?
Yeah, after you. It was a weird audition. It was straight to producers and I had done a pilot and it was like, I think Vincent had set us up and it was like, trust me, you want to go read with this casting director. Just read with her. And you walked out and I walked in and she had this crazy smile on her face. And I was like, I love Nick. And she was like, it's like he gets the part before he gets him as soon as he walks in the room. And I was like, oh, did he already get this part? And she goes, I don't know, but whatever the next thing is, he'll get that. Well, he's getting something. And I was like, wow. And then I was like, well, I think I'm in a deficit here. And I was like, all right. And then I tried to be like more high energy and you could see, and I was like, that confidence you talked about is like, you had if it's the same way a surfer doesn't think about sharks, you didn't think about failure. You lived in a world of abundance and you just kind of like, you lived your life and you succeeded at such a high level that I was always massively impressed by everything you did.
I just like, thank you. But like, I got a lot of rejection. So just so you know, I mean, I had that confidence. I had a theater and improv background, so I was trained in that sense. But you had to work up a skill set. And all I can say, and this is advice to anybody out there, is just really just be confident in what you do and put yourself out there and go like, it's just you have to. You've got to really believe in yourself, and you've got to realize in that world, it was like, if I don't get this part, I'm not going to die. You know, it's like it's not the end of the world. You have to just keep going and just go to the next thing, and then you build up a skill set where I would audition and I would kill, and I learned to not. I would walk away and be like, okay, I didn't get it. I would never go like nailed it because you learn that early on, which is such a fucking mistake. Where you're like, I got that show or I got that movie. You cannot do that. You've got to sadly not have
people would come into the cellar and be like, dude, I crushed this audition today. And you're like, yeah, they've already booked it.
You're like, I booked the machine. What are you talking about?
So wait, so let's get, by the way, I just started talking, so I have no idea how long we've gone or how long we're going, but we're just going to have a very organic conversation. And obviously, we're going to talk about drinking. But when did you, like, when you came out here? When did you start? Like, when did you start drinking? Like,
I got into drinking. I mean, my first album was called Party. So this was in my early 20s, and I really embraced that. And that's one thing that we both did, is that we got so into the drinking culture, because you don't really have I won't say you don't have a choice, but when you get swept up, the thing about stand-up is that you're a one-man rock show. You don't have a drummer, you don't have a bassist, you don't have anything. So it's just you, and it's so great. And when you get famous and you have a fan base and everybody's on your wavelength, most of my 20s, it was so fun. And I just liked it. And I always loved drinking. And that's something where the disconnect between the drinking universe is, some people, my family didn't understand. They didn't understand that I loved drinking. I loved going out. I loved going to a bar. Loved watching the games. I loved my fans. I loved the culture. I loved, like you said, airport bars, hotel bars. It just became a part of who I was.
Kathleen Madigan, I said I'm doing a podcast with Nick this week. Kathleen Madigan, I was with her in the Ozarks at the amphitheater. Kathleen Madigan said, Barney's. I went, what? She goes, Nick. When I think of Nick, I think of Barney's. And when I think of Barney's, I think of Nick.
Yeah. I
said, really? And she goes, all I think of Nick with a big Viking hat, and go, Nick, it's not even Sunday. You go, you can root for the Vikings every day of the week, Kathleen.
Yes.
You really are the perfect representation of the Midwest.
I was just that, dude. And I could fucking drink. And I learned how to pace myself. And I could drink all day. I mean, it just became a part of who I was. And that's where it became dangerous. When I got into my 30s and I was still doing it and my fans were still doing it. And then, like, once I hit 40, then I started to go, okay, I don't want to do jokes about blacking out. I don't want to do jokes. I don't want that to be my identity. And then hold
on, hang on, because there's podcasts you've done where I hear you correct yourself, and only as a drinker do I giggle, where you go, I don't want to do jokes about blacking out, as opposed to just not blacking out anymore.
Yeah,
you go, like,
exactly.
My favorite one ever. This made me laugh on a fucking plane. You're talking to Neil Brennan, who, Neil, you know I love you. You know I love you, but is the squarest of squares you're going to meet.
Right.
He's only done ayahuasca to get emotionally healthy.
Totally.
Like, he's only does drugs to do self-work. Like, I've never heard of that in my life. So,
no. And he looks like a baby bird.
And Neil is talking to you, and you're telling a story. You go, I used to get up, I'd go to the bar at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and Neil goes, 9 o'clock in the morning? And you said, maybe 10. And he went, oh, okay, 10. And I was like, only Nick would go, not 10. Is 10 better for you? I don't know. Yeah. Neil, Jesus, fuck. It was early, okay?
Yeah. You know what the right answer is? 6. That's actually the right answer. I found a bar by my house that opened at 6. But
there's a great, you told me about that. You've told me about drinking it like early mornings. And I always was like, I never really drank unless I was at an airport. I never drank that early.
Right.
And I saw the greatest documentary about dudes who drink at 6 in the morning. It's triggering. Like, it is. And it's apparently, there's a whole bar culture that starts at like 5 a.m. and it's for people that get off the graveyard shift.
Right.
And they're all over New York. They're bars and that's what they do. They get in and they open at 6, and it's everyone that's getting off work. And they're like, yeah, this looks unhealthy to you, but this is my decompress. The guy's like, I'm an ambulance. I work in an ambulance. I'm a EMT. And I just spent the whole night pulling people out of fucking subway stations that have been stabbed. And now I get to decompress.
Right.
And I was like, Nick, I told you there's only a couple times lately where I've thought about drinking, like for real, where I was like, dude, I miss it really bad. Watching that documentary.
Right.
Oh. I was at a party the other day, and everyone was over 50, and everyone was aging. These are guys I knew when we were 40, 36 years old, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting around a bunch of old men, and I'm not an old man yet. I'm still young. Do you know why I'm young? Because I take care of my body. That is why I start every day. Look, this dude's crazy. He knows everything there is about his body and bodies in general. This is Blueprint Longevity Mix. Blueprint is built on scientific evidence So the guesswork is over. This is Brian Johnson's company. Brian Johnson's a guy I spent an hour in a sauna with in Austin talking about longevity. This guy's done all the math. He's got the show on Netflix, and Blueprint isn't just adding ingredients because they're trending on TikTok. Every ingredient in here fights for its life. They earn their place through population level research and real world testing. That's not what's trending, it's what's testing. And all the ingredients have study level dosages. They aren't just sprinkled in minuscule amounts of ingredients just to put them on the label like some brands do. I'm not going to say what brands they do that, but they do that. Instead of a whole cabinet full of pills, which is what I was taking, it's just one scoop of this in water. You mix it and it's done. One single scoop is going to help with energy, cognitive performance, mood, focus, sleep, cellular resistance, and healthy aging. That's why I looked so young at this party. With ingredients like magnesium, taurine, glycine, creatine, and more. Look at this. This is what you need. And if you haven't spent a lot of time on the last few years, then you don't know who Brian Johnson is, but I do. Check him out. He's on Netflix. He is basically the guy trying to live forever, and he is doing a great job. He looks great. His girlfriend's vagina is like the highest pH vagina in the world. That's the kind of level of testing that goes into this guy. He looks better than the rest of us. And he's running one of the most measured longevity experiments in the world, tracking all his biomarkers, sharing plasma with his son and his dad, publishing all these data markers. This dude is experiment first mindset, and that is what has led Blueprint. Blueprint is what Brian Johnson takes every single morning, and he's finally sharing his formula with the rest of us. He's not trying to sell us anything. He's selling his formula to the rest of us. Blueprint doesn't just make longevity mix. They also make essential capsules, high polyphenol olive oil, omega-3, collagen, peptides, and more, all designed around the same data-driven philosophy. Science-backed, precision-dosed, no BS. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off plus free shipping at blueprint.brianjohnson, that's Brian with a Y, BRYANJOHNSON.com by using code Bertcast at checkout. That's code Bertcast at blueprint.brianjohnson.com for 20% off. And after they purchase, they're going to say, hey, where did you hear about us? Say, Bert sent me. Bertcast. Support our show and tell them that my show sent you. Guys, if your lady or your fella or that person that sends you the eggplant emoji at 2 a.m. is ready for better sex, then you should be too. That's where Blue Chew comes in. They have been on a mission for years to get you bricked up, to build your confidence, and to help you actually perform in the bedroom. Their new arousal-boosting formula, Blue Chew to Gold, is helping millions of men have better sex in 2026. While most ED meds only focus on blood flow, Blue Chew Gold goes further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 ingredients for mental arousal and connection. So you're not just physically ready, you're actually in the mood. This type of innovation is why Blue Chew Gold is the #1 brand in erectile function. Let me explain this to you. Very simple. More is more. More blood flow is more arousal, is more performance, is more you, in more her, more of the times. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd month for free with promo code Bertcast. That's promo code Bertcast. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And I'd like to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Dude, even like with me not drinking, like I'll never shit on the bar culture. I'll never shit on, I've had great times, man. I've met great people. I've had a lot of fun, and it's just the danger of it is you can fucking die. I mean, I almost died several times.
Several times. Let's walk us through let's walk us through the greatest hits of Nick Swardson. And by the way, I want to say, I was always told, and I know I've shit on sober podcasts a lot lately because that's all that's in my algorithm, and I shit on sober influencers sometimes. I do, only because I feel like monetizing your sobriety it just seems on it. I understand you're doing it for the betterment, and that to help is part of the process and all that. Look, I'm also not in fucking AA, so I don't know all your rules. But I just, as a guy going through whatever the fuck I'm going through, I'm allowed to have my opinion and be Bert Kreischer on an island. This is my thoughts, okay?
Right.
But I was always told that I went to one AA meeting when I was like 27 or 28 maybe 29. I went to one AA meeting and they're like, you never tell war stories. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, man, that's your past. You don't tell war stories. You don't celebrate your time partying because you're not supposed to do that. And by the way, that's all that I see on podcasts. That's all I see on podcasts is people celebrating their war stories. And I go, okay, so then that's not a thing of AA anymore. So I don't have a problem with you telling these stories. Like it doesn't trigger me. I see that it's what is in the culture of sobriety right now is there are people I follow that just want to tell you about their partying.
Yeah.
And so I'm cool with it if you're cool with it.
Yeah, but also the reason that I'm vocal about it, and this is the podcast I wanted to do, that's the first one, and I don't judge anybody, and I'm not trying to preach. We're all living our own life. We're all just trying not to die. We're all just trying to get through it, man. And my perspective is that I went to fucking hell and back. Literally, when I say I almost died, I should be dead. And I want to share my experience because I think it's unique because I've been there, done that. I've gone through all the mindsets, all these different things. And so I share my story because I always was like, I'm going to leave behind my comedy and my movies. And then I realized like people think I suck. There's people that are like, Nick Swardson's not funny, his movies suck. So then I want to leave behind advice that hopefully will help people's lives and let them live longer and not fall down the hole that I did for a long time. And so when I talk about it, and I've already gotten shit for it. I've gotten shit for talking about it casually. And people think I talk about it too casually. And I'm really just trying to relate and make it accessible because the sober community, God bless them. And people that are in recovery, it's not funny. It's not a joke. It's wicked intense.
Yeah.
And, the thing that was hard for me is that my family, friends, doctors, they would be like, you can never drink again. You've got to stop it. You can never drink again. And that gave me so much anxiety because then I would be like, well, fuck you. Like, I don't have a DUI. I don't get into fights. I have a great time. People like me. I like them. I love going to bars. So I was like, then I would go and drink as a fuck you to them. But what was stupid and immature about that is all I was doing is destroying my body. All I was doing was wrecking my liver. I wasn't showing up anybody. I was just destroying myself.
Yeah.
And I did everything in my power to keep drinking. Even being hospitalized and released, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'm not a whiskey guy. That's what it is. I go, figured it out. I'm a beer and a shot guy. And then, woo, ambulance. And then like, okay, I'm not that. Okay, tequila, that's what it is. I'm a tequila guy, tequila on the rocks. Then, woo.
Too much sugar in wine.
Yeah, it was just like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, vodka soda with the lime, no sugar. And then I fucking abused that. And then I finally was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, is this what my life is? And that's where you have to take a step back and be like, is this what I am? Am I the guy at the bar? Am I the guy running to get a drink? Am I the guy panicking all the time? Am I the guy like, we got to land this fight. I need to get to the bar. Can I get, And it was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
There's nothing that, by the way, I hope no one's been triggered and can listen to this because I think I probably have some insights that are maybe unaddressed, but there's nothing worse than being beholden to the bar. Meaning like I went to Dane, had a premiere for his hour special, and I wasn't drinking at the time. And it was the first time I realized, they're serving alcohol, but I'm not drinking, so I won't get any. I was like, I'll just get some popcorn and a soda. And I thought, casually, I forgot I wasn't drinking, and I was like, I should get beers before they close. I should get 2 more. I'll get Leanne 2. I'll get 2 so that I have beers for this. Like during baseball games when they're like, oh yeah, 7th inning, and you're like, wait, when did they stop serving? Like, there's nothing like letting go of that being a slave to the alcohol of. It's really nice. I mean, I got to be honest with you, not drinking it's so nice to go to a baseball game and just go, it's the 7th inning.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is.
Enjoy the game.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the game as opposed to going, hang on, who wants to make a run? You get 2, I'll get 2, and then we'll get 2. You never know if this goes into. We went to a Dodgers game that went into extra innings. And I was like, what the fuck are we talking about?
I would leave if I was drinking. There's no way.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's really important is you become a slave to it and you don't realize it. And that's what happens is that, and everyone's different, of course. And if you can socially drink, God bless you. You know what I mean? I'm addressing what I became is that I just became a slave to it. And what I would do is I would dry out for a month or I would dry out for 2 months. I always knew I was going back. And like I've done now just completely without alcohol 1 year and 3 months. And I never thought I could do 1 year. And we've talked about this where the idea of 1 year is so daunting to people.
I mean,
because they think about it. And everybody, if you're listening to this, you think about going 1 year sober and you go, well, no, that's impossible because I've got to drink on my birthday.
Yes.
I've got to drink on the 4th of July.
Yes.
I always drink on Halloween.
What are we doing?
I've got to drink on
the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. It's like I can't not drink on the Super Bowl.
When they told me I had to quit drinking for 6 months, they told me that to me in the hospital room.
Yeah.
And it was January 11th. And my first words to her were, what about the Super Bowl?
Exactly.
And she went, what are we talking about? And I was like, what am I supposed to do for the Super Bowl? And then I looked at Leanne. I was like, we have Daytona 500. I go, South Beach Food and Wine Festival. Ma'am, I can't quit drinking. I got a lot of things planned.
Yeah.
And she was like, and then she was like, I don't know. I go, what about marijuana? And then she looked at Leanne and goes, what are we doing right now? And I was like, only a fucking lunatic sounds like that to her.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking crazy. And that's when you have to really stop yourself. And just so people listening, like, being sober, it sounds so daunting. And you think that you're crazy and you think other people are going to be like, oh, they're weird now. It's like, no, there's a great life ahead of you that's sober. It's awesome. I've done fucking New York. I've done New Orleans. I've done Miami. I've done Vegas. I've done cruise ships. I've done all these things sober. I've done every holiday. I've done them all. And it's all been fine. It's all been great.
Yeah, by the way, I did the Super Bowl, I did NASCAR, and I did the South Beach Food and Wine Festival sober.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was just as good. I mean, the food was
just as
inarguably
good.
better. And and what's crazy is like I got home the night after the Daytona 500. I woke up and I went running for 5 miles on the beach the next morning at 6 a.m. and saw the sunrise. Yeah, and you're like, okay, there's also this. Now, to anyone who's like, Bert, don't turn your back on us. Obviously. I had a couple moments driving around in a golf cart where I saw dudes with my belly coming out of a trailer, cracking a bush light, and I went, oh, I want to be there so bad.
Right.
But it's fleeting. It really is fleeting.
It's fleeting, and also this is a trick that I've learned too, is I've had that many times where I'm at a hotel bar or an airport bar, and I'm like, I could fucking have a drink right now. I could 100%. I've been sober for, a year. That's amazing. I could celebrate that. And then you think what happens after that drink. So what you do is walk yourself through like, okay, I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to feel great. I'm going to have another one. I'm going to start talking to people. I'm going to have another one. Maybe I'll do a shot. Then I get on the airplane. I'll have a drink on the plane. Then all of a sudden I'm like, okay. And then you land. And then
I'm going to have one when we land.
And then, yeah. And then and then all of a sudden you're fucking blacked out. You're running off. You're finding another bar. You're out until 3 a.m. Like and then you wake up and you feel like shit. Then you need a Bloody Mary. And then you're like, fuck. And then you're like, okay, I got to work tonight. And then it just goes, and it's just not worth it.
Let's get into some war stories because
Bert's panicking.
Because no. What's so funny is on the plane yesterday, I go to the doctor tomorrow. Technically, the doctor tomorrow can tell me that I can start drinking again. I'm going to stay for 6 months. But he could tell me that if the clot's totally gone and he pulls me off blood thinners. But I was on the plane yesterday, really bad turbulence, small plane, and I thought, and I literally gave up. I go, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? If I have a drink, this goes away. I know this goes away. And then I was like, yeah, but, and I started doing the math, and I was like, I've beat this before. And can I tell you what got me not to drink, Nick? And whatever the fuck thing you got to convince yourself to get you not to drink. You look at your kids, you look at your wife, you look at the fucking house, you look at what you lost. The traffic on the 405. There's nothing worse than having to stay sober for an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh yeah,
on the drive on the 405, and I was like, I never liked that. I always got angry that I'd have my last drink at the airport, and then I had to wait to open a bottle of wine or a bottle of Porosos for an hour and 15 minutes. I go, you know what? It's not worth it.
Yeah,
the traffic on the 405.
Yeah, no fucking way. Yeah. I hear you. I had to do a show. I had to go from Aspen, I think, to Colorado Springs, and it was I'm just paraphrasing this, but I think it was the drive was like a couple hours, and there was a storm, a blizzard, and it went from a couple hours to 8 hours. And me and my buddy were in the car, and I fucking panicked before we went through like a bunch of mountains. And I go, pull over. And the guy's like, what? And I'm like, go to the gas station. And I bought 2 bottles of like fucking wine. And then me and my buddy just sat there, thank God. But it was awful. It's like, why am I doing this to myself?
And then there's a part of it that's so romantic.
But you romanticize it, and then it's actually not. Yeah. Like you think about...
It's like anal sex.
Yeah.
It seems like a great idea
Tom
until
Segura.
you both come, and then you're like, ow.
Then you have to look at Tom Segura, and you're like, God, why did we do that?
Buddy.
And he smells. One thing, though, too, that I did is kind of a mind trick is that I had a really bad fear of flying.
I still have it. Help me with it.
Yeah, I don't like it. But my doctor gave me Xanax. So I was like, okay, so a couple of flights, I would take Xanax, and I felt great. I loved it. I was like, oh, it's amazing. Didn't want to get addicted to pills. So then I would put a Xanax in my wallet, and knowing I had it gave me relief. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I have that, but I'm not going to take it. But knowing I had it. So that's kind of what I did with drinking. If I ever thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, you can have a drink anytime. You have to make the choice of giving a fuck about yourself to go, you know what? I can, but I'm not going to, because I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm going to care about myself. I'm not going to listen to anybody else. I'm going to give a fuck about myself.
Yeah.
And that's what's so important is everybody's caught up on the past, and they're mad at their ex, or they're mad at their spouse, or they're mad at, their boss, or they're mad at, what happened in college. They're mad at something. You just have to let that go, and don't let the past dictate your present and your future. You've got to give a fuck about yourself. It's really important.
It's so powerful. I've never said this. Maybe I have. I feel like I've said everything. But I've thought this a lot lately. A lot. I started drinking pretty heavily when I got cheated on, because I thought everyone looked at me as like this cuck that got cheated on. And I thought I could party myself through it. That if I looked like I was having a good time, no one would look at me and go, oh, I feel bad for him.
Right.
And I thought the other day, it's crazy that I'm still giving power to one girl that cheated. It turned into a habit, obviously, and I think I'm past the breakup. But it all started off this one incident in my life,
right?
That I needed to push through. And when I got to the other side of it, it became a personality. And then I was having a good time, and I've had a good time, but in a weird way, I was like, well, wait, what am I drinking for on a Tuesday night? Like,
right.
I don't need everyone to think, like, why am I drinking? I really want to, my one thing is, if I want to get through my fear of flying, I'm so done with it.
Yeah.
Like I end up in tears at times. Like I'm journaling and I'm emotional, and I'm like, why is this fucking so scary for me? Like, why isn't it scary for everyone? Why is everyone not having the same thoughts I'm having? Yeah. How is this guy reading a fucking paper? How is fucking what's the guy who's not Karl Marx?
Karl Malone.
No, keep going. You're gonna guess it.
Karl Marx?
Not Karl Marx. Who's the songwriter? Richard Marx.
Richard Marx.
How is Richard Marx sound asleep?
They both started communism.
Yeah. How is Richard Marx sound asleep behind Carney Wilson on a fucking plane? How are they both sleeping on this fucking plane? Aren't they aware that we can all die right now? Like, what the fuck? And I'm white knuckling it. I want to get rid of my fear of flying so badly. You have no idea. And I'm gotten it. Nick, I journal really aggressively on planes. And I'm timing because it goes away after a little while.
Yeah.
But I'm timing seeing if I can shorten the time more and more and more.
Yeah, totally.
The weather is finally starting to warm up. Time to liberate your thighs from their winter slumber and throw on some chubbies. It's officially suns out, thighs out weather, gentlemen. These trunks are supportive, comfortable, and fit like nothing you've ever worn before at all. If you haven't worn Chubbies before, don't worry, you're going to. They dry quick. They let you go from crushing cannonballs to crushing cold ones in no time. You can work out in them. You can grill in them. You can throw on a collared shirt. These trunks just don't make a splash. They make a wave of confidence, of compliments, of pure summer joy. And when it's time to towel off, boom, throw on the Chubbies original shorts, built for all summer adventures, no restrictions and zero regrets. Better fits, extra pockets with that worn-in feel from the moment you throw them on. Designed for comfort, built for stretch, designed to give you high thigh confidence. And I love this inner lining. This inner lining for me means I can get on the treadmill with them, jump in the pool with them, grill with them. These shorts feel like your favorite ones from day one, and they look great for any occasion. Happy hour to tea time. These will be what I'm wearing. I throw all my Chubbies in one drawer. You sweat in them, take them into the sauna, jump into the pool, jump into the cold plunge, put them on for the grill. They're perfect. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or a summer vacation, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our code Bertcast at chubbiesshorts.com. That's code Bertcast at chubbiesshorts.com. Support our show and tell them that we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. Support for today's episode comes from Square, the system powering literally half of the places I go. And if you've ever tapped and paid and thought, well, that was really fast, it's probably Square. Whether you're selling lattes, cutting hair, detailing cars, or running a design studio, Square helps you run your business without running yourself into the ground. I've been dealing with Square, I want to say 20 years, as long as I've been doing the road. The second I started selling shirts, and it was a game changer. Listen, whether someone's selling smoothies, cutting hair, fixing bikes, running a boutique, Square gives them one connected system to take payments, manage inventory, run payroll, send invoices, and track it all from one place. Square simplifies the messy stuff. It works for one location, shops and businesses with multiple teams or service areas. You don't need an IT team or a degree in accounting. It scales with you, whether you're selling from a stall or expanding to a storefront. Square isn't just fast. It's smart, transparent, and built for the way people actually run their businesses. No contracts, no hidden fees, no complicated installs. If you're starting a business or running one that deserves better tools, Square helps you sell, manage, and grow without slowing down. Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/Bert. That's SQUARE.com/GO/BERT. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
Let me go back to what you said about your ex, is that's what I'm talking about, is letting the past dictate your future, because a lot of people have that. I've met so many people that are like fucking pissed. Really close friends of mine are like, yeah, and I know why they're drinking. And I'm like, dude, you're not proving anything to that person.
Mm-mm.
It's not a fuck you to them.
No.
You're just killing yourself. So you've got to look at yourself and go, why am I doing this? And you have to be really careful, because, and I'll share this, I've shared this before, and it's fucking awful. But last year I had 6 friends die from drugs and alcohol, 6. And one of my friends was one of my close friends that I grew up with, Dave. And he told me that he had cirrhosis a couple years ago, and he's got a wife and kids. And he has cirrhosis. So that's a death sentence for the most part. So I get a call last year, and it says caller ID. And I knew what the call was. It's one of those ominous calls where I just answer the phone. It's his dad. And he's like, hey, man, it's time. And I'm like, fuck. And he puts Dave on the phone. And my friend Dave, who I grew up with, good looking dude, like I said, wife and kids. And he goes, hey, man, this is it. I love you. And I was like, I love you. I go, I'll see you on the other side, my man. I love you. Hung up the phone. I just broke down, sobbed. It was so fucking awful. And I just thought about my life, and I was so glad that I quit drinking. And it's like, nobody wants that call. And you think about your life, and like, you don't want that fucking call. You don't want to make that call when you're young and healthy, and to call somebody and to say goodbye. And when you have so much, and it really just heightened what I was doing. And I'm not going to put pressure on myself. And that's another thing. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to be not drinking for my rest of my life. I just know that right now, I'm not drinking. You know, I'm not going to fucking hammer myself to be like, you can't, if you fucking, like I'm just living comfortably in who I am and just doing my best.
It's so funny. I always think tomorrow I can drink. Not like right now I can't.
Right.
But tomorrow I can.
Yeah,
if
I totally
want to
can.
tomorrow I definitely can. Today I can't because I'm taking blood thinner. Maybe tomorrow I can. And I always think, you know, and I mean, I would argue, you know, I wish there was a way for everyone. I wish I had. No, I don't wish it. I don't wish it. I should take that back. But I see some people whose journeys are so clear where you're like, what the fuck? And that's social media. Everyone shares their journey. Their journey didn't happen if they don't share it.
Right.
And so now you're like, you left your kids in a pool and you were blacked out and they found you and you're like, whoa. And I was like, that's crazy. And then they're like, you gambled your house away?
Yeah.
Like, you what? Like, I'm not envious of those people, but I'm envious of the fact that they get to say, oh, it was that bad. For me, I if I hadn't gotten that blood clot, I would still be drinking today just the same I was. Nothing would have changed at all.
Right.
I'm so grateful I got the blood clot.
Yes.
Because it's given me some perspective of, like, I would have never taken 4 months off, let alone 6 months, let alone.
Right.
Like I just said to you, my girls are coming home in August. I don't know if I'm going to drink in August, so maybe it's 7 months.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't go back and tour until September. I'm doing a show in June and July. What is my race? I mean, what is it to say that I can't have a beer when my daughter graduates college and then never touch it again for, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful. I am really grateful. I want to make sure that's clear that I've been able to take this time off. And I got to be honest with you, I'm really grateful that it was a doctor that told me I had to do it because I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, when you think about it, you know, it's like what we talked about. I used to plan my fucking tours around it. I'm sure you did too. I'd be like, okay, this leg I want to end in Chicago because I love drinking in Chicago. This leg ends in Boston. Did you ever do that?
Dude.
I would map out all this shit where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this city I don't like being drunk in. We're going to end on this one.
Yeah.
And it was like, I would map it out and it just dictated my whole fucking life.
Yeah.
It was so absurd. And we loved it. And I always loved the idea that you did. I thought it was so genius. And I had told you this before. But what was the day drinking tour that you did?
Calling Sick to Work show.
Calling Sick to Work. Like, that was so fucking, was that your idea?
Yeah.
My God.
That was my first good idea. That was the first thing I did in this business where I started going in the right direction, where I was like, I'm going to do this. And everyone's like, well, I don't think that the clubs aren't, like, people are so quick to say no.
Yeah.
Because it's just, and then the club, I remember the DC Improv was like, we'll do it.
Fuck yeah.
I called Allison, and Allison's like, I'll do it. And I was like, cool. And then I called Elliot in the morning, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this show where I go, everyone just calls in sick to work. We do a show at like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. Right after I'm done doing radio with you, we'll head right over to the club. And he was like, let's do it. And he goes, you know, I don't know how it'll sell, so let's put it on sale like a month out. And then just call in and we'll talk about it organically like you just said. And I did it and it sold out in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was
genius.
And then I did them all around the country.
How many shows did you do with that model?
Oh, a lot. I used to do
100?
Yeah. I used to do
How many people did you get fired?
Dude, I had
Did you ever have any pushback from that? Was anybody like, dude, I'm not a lawyer anymore?
A guy called me and it's like, my dad's dead.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What happened there? Are you joking?
I'm not.
You had somebody killed their dad at your show? Somebody killed their dad at Bert's show. That's great.
We were in Tampa.
Always comes back to Florida.
And I was very fucked up at this show. And I remember there was this guy in the front row and he had gotten to the club at like 8 o'clock and he started drinking at 8 o'clock. He was like fucking 8 a.m. the club open and I got there and they were out of beer. The club was out of beer.
Jesus Lord.
And they were like, yo, we need to push the show by like at least 45 minutes. We were waiting for our beer distributor to show up. And so I was like, okay. So we went up to the green room and kept drinking. And it's sold out. It's like my club's seated like 400. Sold out. It's like 10 in the morning.
Jesus.
And they're out of beer. And so I'm like, all right, so we push it. We start the show at like noon when beer shows up. And I'm fucked up. They're fucked up. There's so much to this show that is worth a story that I'll just glaze over. But this guy, the important part is this guy, I lost my pay. I lost my check. I did not tell the machine. I walked off stage halfway into the machine. I gave out Segura's number on stage.
Oh my God.
If you find pictures from this, I am so drunk. My dad picked me up. I spent the night at I spent the morning. I woke up that evening. I spent the night at my dad's new house. They had built a new house, and I woke up in a house I'd never been in. And I was like, they have pictures of me. I'd never been in that house. And he was like, hey, what do you think of the new house? I was like, where the fuck am I? But this guy in the front row stood up in the middle of my show, and he goes, buy me a drink. I go, what do you want? It was when that Nathaniel Ratliff song was big. Give me a drink.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you want? And he was like, I have stage 4 brain cancer. And I went, okay. He goes, I want a rum and Diet Coke. I go, sir, I'd just get a Coke. I don't think you're going to notice the calories. And big laugh. And then he fell and he hit his head.
Oh my God.
Like a week later, his son texted me. He's like, yo, just give me a heads up. My dad died. And I was like,
fucking blaze of glory there.
Yeah. And he was like, well, it could have been the brain cancer, could have been the head injury, could have been your show. Just wanted you to know he loved you. And I was like, I loved him too. I'll never forget him.
Right.
Thought about him a lot. Rum and Diet
Lord.
Coke.
There you go.
Yeah,
go out on a rum and diet.
Imagine how good that would go on these crowd work clips these kids put up. It's like, and he's dead. And then there's like a memorial with the praying hands. So wait,
Lord.
I want to, if you're comfortable, I want to talk about one of my favorite things. As a matter of fact, I just said to Leanne, I can't go there. She was like, yo, we have time off in August. We're going to be in Atlanta. Would you like to go to one of the islands? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. She said, what island? She goes, I would love to go to Key West. And I go, I can't. She said, why? I said, because Key West is a different thing for me. I said,
Right.
I just love Key West. And if I go, I want to be on one. I don't want to be like figuring out, like, if I start drinking again, Key West is not the first place I need to go.
No.
But it was your first place.
It was where I went for COVID, but I'd booked the trip pre-COVID. So I had booked it, and then I was like, I'm going to go for 10 days, and then COVID exacerbated. It was so crazy. And then I was like, I'm just going to stay here. And everybody was like, just stay there. Like, whatever you do, stay there.
It's Florida. It's kind of safe. It's outdoors.
It was fucking epic. I will not trade that for the world, even though it almost killed me. It gave me diabetes.
It gave you diabetes,
Yeah.
and you almost lost your legs, which is one of my favorite war stories I've ever heard is that you had leg atrophy.
I had leg atrophy and walked around with a cane and walked around the island like some old sea pirate, and bars were filling their Tito's half with water to make sure that I didn't fucking die.
You sat in a bar
I outdrank Key West. So let's just say, if you want to talk about the Michael Jordan and LeBron of drinking, we can debate that. But I mean, and this is after I had almost, and I'm not bragging about this at all. I want to make sure that people don't, this is where people are like, oh, Nick and Bert are having fun talking about this. I want to make sure how important and serious I am about not drinking right now. So please, but yeah, Key West was fucking insane. One of the reasons I'm still alive is because you didn't visit me and Doug Stanhope didn't visit me. Ooh. And that's probably why I got back to life.
The only reason I didn't go to Key West, I swear to God, is someone ran into you and I said, and they went, Nick's in Key West. And I went, shut the fuck up. And I had a tour bus with me. I was traveling everywhere. I was doing shows in drive-in movie theaters. And we had an offer to do one in an old amphitheater in Miami. And I was like, dude, fucking let's make a run to Key West. And someone had seen you. I forget who it was. And he was like, Nick's not good. He's losing his vision. And I went, what? And they're like, yeah, and his legs don't work. And I went, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, man, I think he's drinking a lot. I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh, I'm not going to Key West. I don't think I can live. I don't think I'll make it through there. Like I thought if I got down there, I may never come back.
Yeah, that would have been 2 hurricanes colliding.
But the craziest thing is that you just were sitting in bar stools so much that your legs just stopped working.
Yeah, I wasn't moving my body at all. So I was just sitting there. I would walk. They put me in a hotel room. I stayed at a resort for a year and a half, by the way.
Wait, which resort? Are the one right by the
Southernmost Beach Resort.
So wait, can you walk me through Key West? And not in a, like, I just love Key West. I love Key West. So you go down for a week, you stay at a resort.
I go to Charleston to hang out with Danny McBride. Danny's one of my good friends. So Danny wanted me to stay in Charleston. He's like, you got to stay here, man. And Danny's one of those Achilles heels
You and Danny
to me.
did one of the best movies that I don't think got enough love.
It didn't. 30 minutes or less. It's great.
It's so good. And it's based off a true story.
Yeah, but it's not. That's what hurt us, is
really?
that the idea of putting a bomb on somebody, it's not based on a true story, but they use the idea of it. But people thought we were making fun of what happened. It was a real story. We were not at all.
Okay,
but it's a great movie. So Danny, I go visit him during COVID. And he's like, man, what are you doing? And I go, I'm going to Key West. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to Key West for 10 days. And he's like, okay, man, come back. You should buy a house here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So I pop over to Key West. 10 days goes by. Shit's hitting the fan all across the country. It's a fucking nightmare. Key West is fucking Barnea. It's the best place on earth. No one's on social media. No one's watching the news. It's just like live music, country road every day. And then Danny called me like a month later. He's like, hey, man, where the fuck are you? And I go, I'm still in the Keys. And he's like, what? And then I stayed there for a year and a half. And my hotel room was right off the bar. So I'd wake up and walk, 100 feet to the bar, saddle up, drink, wait till my friends woke up, drink all day. It was so fucking great. I loved it. But my muscles got atrophied and then I fucking almost died.
You got diabetes.
I got diabetes, yeah. Which is not funny. None of this is funny. I live to tell about it.
Well, this is the thing is that, and I'm trying to find a silver lining through this, but as a big drinker, this is the beauty of your story is, hey, if you're struggling, you can just stop today. Like, that's the really cool thing about having a drinking problem is you can stop.
If you're drinking a lot.
Wait. Talk about this.
Well, no. Wait.
This. Yes.
If you're drinking a lot, seek assistance.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that is in there because if you're a heavy drinker and you go cold turkey, that's very, very dangerous.
It's really dangerous.
So make sure that you have assistance if you're going to quit drinking, if you're a heavy, heavy drinker.
I never had that, although I wonder if I did and I just didn't notice. Is that possible?
What do you mean?
Like I never had DTs.
You've never had withdrawals?
No. I mean, I've been hungover.
Yeah, I mean, I've had all of it. I mean, it's bad. I mean, I've seizured.
Like, for real?
Yes.
Like, how much do you have to drink to seizure? Is it more of like a volume over time?
I mean, I was drinking, let's just say after Key West, where I drank at least a bottle of vodka a day, at least. So after a year and a half, I came back.
That doesn't sound like a lot to me. And I'm being serious, is like, Leanne
just so you know, that's a lot for a human being. A day, a bottle of vodka. And that's at least.
Are we talking about a handle?
I mean, I was probably at a handle, yeah.
Okay, but I mean, Porosos comes in 3 sizes, and the smaller vodka,
This is not a commercial. Jesus.
Guys, if you're struggling with alcohol,
so
Porosos is a great option. We're a clean vodka. We don't give DTs.
Just insane. You can fly. No. Yeah, but so if you seek assistance because it's fucking real, man. DTs are real, and that shit's real.
I'm really stuck on this. Like, how much of like a bottle of vodka, like in a day, I could get through that.
Yeah, but I mean, we're seasoned drinkers. Yeah. I could do it and not even blink an eye.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, for a normal person, that's insane. Like David Spade. I've gone out with David a million times. I've been to Vegas with David a million times. He looks at me, and I'm sure you get this. He'll look at me after I was drinking to the point where 5 cocktails would then make me feel normal. Mm-hmm. I would be like, oh, okay, now I'm alive. And then I would be great, Yeah. But David's like, would look at me, he'd go, if I even had like 3 of those, I would be out. And he would just stare at me and I was getting 5 to get started. Dave would have like 3 cocktails and that was good. But he would look at me like I was a fucking insane person, which, I mean, in many ways I was. But he was like, holy shit. I mean, the drinking culture is it's wild. I mean,
3
it's
cocktails,
like,
I don't know if I'd notice.
I wouldn't
Like
even.
in my drinking, like January 10th, 3 cocktails, and I'm like, okay, let's get after it.
Yeah, 100%. That's how I was. It
Yeah.
was like game on.
As a matter of fact, I would kind of argue, and I'm being really honest right now, I would kind of argue that one of my cocktails is probably 3 cocktails because I drink everything in like 32-ounce cups.
Okay.
So like I mean, I bet he couldn't get through one of my drinks.
Probably not. If I did an hour show sometimes, I would pour a triple vodka because of, I would do an hour and I would have that last me the whole show. But I mean, it was fucking insane.
Yeah.
And, it was tricky because then you fall into the trap of you have your drinking fans that love you and they get it. And then you have people that are like, what in the fuck are you doing? And that's where I got caught in the middle is because, it's very dangerous because I was like, well, I'm the fun drunk. Like people love me like this. And then you have people that were worried and going like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And then the older you get, it's
the misconception is that all of your fans are alcoholics.
right.
And I learned that recently because I don't have like, I'm not a brand guy, meaning like I'm not pretending to be something I'm not on stage. I am exactly what I am. Off stage is on stage. So if I am not drinking off stage, I will talk about not drinking on stage because that's how I do stand up. I don't have I'm not going to go up and pretend to drink on stage so that, and this is going to sound crazy to people, but there are people that do that. There are people that don't drink, that pretend to drink on stage. There are people that back when we started, there were people that pretended to be drunk on stage that were sober.
Yeah.
That was their act.
Or they would talk about being drunk and they have never had a drink in their life. Yeah.
Oh, that used to make me crazy.
I know. I would hate that too.
I would hate that. It made me fucking insane. I want to say their names so bad.
I know. So do I, but we won't.
I want to say their names.
But yeah.
But and then I started talking about, I haven't had a drink in, whatever. I just did stand up the other night and I said, I haven't had a drink in 4 months. And what was astounding to me is in an arena, more than half the people cheered for me. And I thought to myself, I don't think they care if I drink or not. Like, I don't think my drinking, which I always kind of felt like I don't want to lose who I am. So I'm going to keep drinking.
Right.
But in this journey that I've had, and, look, I have to say this, I'm probably never going to quit drinking. But it's nice to know that. It's nice to know that there are people that are there because they also like me and that my drinking doesn't matter to them.
Right.
And actually, me looking healthier makes them happier for me.
100%.
And that's such an interesting, because you do think like I'm a commodity at times. Like maybe they're only here because I party, or maybe, I don't know why they're here. Why are so many people here? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you were really laid into that of like party animal times 1,000. So, that's the trap. And that's the trap that, Chris Farley, who I met him a couple times, but I mean that from what I know, that's the trap that you fall into. And I felt myself being like, oh, I'm the drunk guy. And again, to reiterate, there's a whole world out there, man. Like you don't have to be the drunk guy. You don't have to be the crazy person. You can just, it's really, really important. One of the sweetest things was I was at a Vikings game, which by the way, this is another dangerous thing about drinking. You can find any fucking excuse to drink, especially being a sports fan. Team wins, blackout. Team loses, blackout. You're just constantly, there's always a game on. You can find fucking cornhole. You can find anything on ESPN.
Can I tell you
what can justify any kind of drinking. Watch that.
Do you want to know what my thoughts were today?
What?
God damn it, it's a beautiful day. I would love to have a drink. And the other day I thought, God damn it, this is a shit day. I wouldn't mind a drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad day, good day, man, alcohol fits in both of them.
You're like, what is that, a bird? Let's do a shot. You
Yeah.
can fucking do that. But I was at a Vikings game and I had gone out, saying that I had quit drinking. And somebody walked down the aisle, just right in my lap, handed me a bottle of water. And they gave me a thumbs up. And it made me so emotional because it was so sweet. I didn't know this person.
Yeah.
They just, they knew me except from Minnesota and they knew I was not drinking and they just handed me a bottle of water. And There's just a whole world out there, and it's just fucking great, man.
By the way, now I want to make sure I'm not celebrating sobriety too much. Here's the truth is,
psycho.
I saw Dave Matthews one time on stage.
I know Dave. It's great.
He looked so healthy. Like he looked, and he was full of life that I thought, I want whatever he's having. And someone goes, he's not. And I went, what? And he goes, that's why he looks so good. I don't think he's drinking right now. And I went,
right.
Oh, that's not the answer I wanted. And I was like, wow, he looked so good.
Yeah.
And he was smiling. And I was like, I looked at his hair loss and I was like, I wish I had that hair loss. Like everything about him looked so good.
Yeah.
He was in black. I can tell you, we were in San Diego. I was drunk at the time. By the way, I was drunk and I wasn't drinking at that time. And I was like, I'm getting drunk. It's Dave. I had a show that night. I fucked up a joke. They were paying me a lot of money and I really fucked up my best joke. And I was wearing flip-flops and I stumbled on stage and they were like, how drunk are you? And I was like, I'm not, it's flip-flops. And they're like, why didn't you wear shoes? And I was like, it's the fucking flip-flops.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I wish I looked better.
Yeah, I mean, you look better when you don't. I mean, like people have
My
noticed
skin's
that,
gotten worse.
Well, what do you mean it's gotten worse since you've been sober?
Yeah.
No, you look better. The thing I love about you is you would lie to me. You can never lie to a drinker.
We can't lie to each other.
And I would see you. Wait, I remember seeing you one time, and I wasn't drinking at the time. I was off for a couple months, and you're like, "Oh, you're not drinking?" I'm like, "No," and you're like, "I haven't drank in a while." And I go, you look like a fucking haunted house. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's flies around your head.
But no,
and you're like, no, it's been a while. And I'm like, no, you lie to me.
Someone was telling me, I just heard about this somewhere, and it's like their truth versus the real truth.
Right.
Like, I would tell you my truth. My truth is how I feel about the truth.
Right.
So like, I'd be like, yeah, I've been drinking a while. And they're like, how long? And I go, well, it's like, well, I drank last night, but I wasn't drinking a lot. And they were like, well, how much? And I go, well, it's all I had. Like, we opened a bottle of wine at dinner and I had another one after that. But, like, I would quantify drinking. Like, if I had 4 beers, I didn't count that as drinking.
Right. Which is dangerous and not real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, drinking is, that's why I said I haven't touched alcohol in a year and 3 months. But in my head, I haven't really drank in almost 2 years because, like you said, we're part of a different ilk of drinkers and non-drinker. You know what I mean? Like people that drink socially, but we drank, like you said, you just sloughed off a bottle a day as like, yeah, it's like, that's fucking insane.
I might need someone to bring up this size bottle because I feel like it's a small bottle.
No, it's not a fucking mini bar bottle. I'm not talking about crushing. But by the way, yeah, okay.
When I start drinking again, I got to fucking find out if I can get through a bottle because I'm starting to think like, could I drink a bottle? You
can't. By the way, when you start drinking again, you cannot drink like you used to. You can't go back in that mode because that's fucking dangerous.
But can we? Okay, trigger ears, like for anyone that doesn't need to hear this, and I'm just talking. I don't know. Like if you said to me, Bert, you can drink and, every couple weeks have a couple beers after work, but that's it. It's just a couple beers.
Right.
Or you can never drink again. I go, well, I'll just never drink again. There's no reason to have a couple beers.
Right.
But if you say, or you can see how hard that horse runs on top of that mountain every now and then, I'd be like, that's the one I want. Like I like having drinks and I like having cocktails and I like the socialness of it. And I mean, old school me and you would have had drinks on this and we would have gotten pretty lit, gotten loose. But the thing I like about drinking is when it turns the corner. I'm just not one of those people that's ever going to have one glass of wine at dinner. I'm never going to be.
I was never that guy either.
Because I go, why am I just staining my teeth? Like if you said to me, if we're talking calories, give me a root beer. I love root beer. I'll always drink a root beer.
Right.
If we're talking calories, but if we're not talking calories and we're watching our calories, one glass of wine with dinner? No, I'll have water or sparkling water or maybe a Diet Coke will be cool.
Right.
That's what I'd enjoy more with dinner. And if you say to me that, that my life would be relegated to 2 beers, like I can't understand those people. I really don't. And I
never understood that either.
I don't get them. And I'm comfortable if you say to me, because that's what they said, when we started these blood thinners, my cardiologist did candidly say to me, you can drink. You can drink. But he goes, I also know you. And he's like, would it kill you to not drink for 6 months? I feel like it would be better for you. Just don't drink. And I go, I can do that.
Yeah.
If you tell me I can, and it's 2 beers, it's either on or off.
Yeah.
I like,
100%.
and I don't know that I don't know that, and I'm also very cool with it being on or off. But I think I don't think I'll ever be my wife who has half a margarita watching a sunset.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna have one, and I want a floater, and I'm gonna want a round of shots of tequila, and I'm gonna want a second one. And when everyone gets the bill, I'm gonna pull the waiter aside and go, can I get one more margarita with a floater and get me just do another round of shots real quick, put it on my bill. And that's my energy.
Right.
That's the thing I want. That's the magic trick I like.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I was.
Yeah.
For me, alcohol lit a fuse. It was like, boom, let's fucking go. When I started drinking, it was game on. It was go until we cannot go anymore. I mean, it was, and we glamorize it and it's fun, but I can't stress how fucking dangerous it is.
It is dangerous. Well, I would be curious to know what percentage of people are alcoholics. Because if you look online, it looks like 50%.
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing I was always fascinated about is that, a lot of people in recovery were mad at me because I wasn't going like, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, which I am. But, I would get a lot of flack for that. And I was always like, well, there's different levels because I've been to AA. And if that works for you, God bless you. It just didn't work for me. But, there was different when I would go to meetings and I would hear stories. And I remember hearing people that were like, they couldn't walk past a bar. They couldn't look at an empty bottle. They couldn't go to a wedding. There was so many horrifying situations and scenarios, and it was terrible. And I remember going in these meetings and going like, well, that's not me. I don't even have a fucking DUI. I can sit at a bar anytime. So I never thought I had a problem. And so like I would take 3 months off without an issue, but I always planned on going back. And so I was fascinated by those levels of alcoholism, and anybody can comment if, what their thoughts are on that. But that genuinely fascinated me because I always thought of myself as kind of a different, it's still an alcoholic, but I was fascinated by those levels of
alcoholic's been co-opted the same way narcissism has.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm kind of saying is I'm curious because I don't, I never identified with that.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm an
alcoholic.
I never understood people that were like, yo, you got to take all the alcohol out of my mini bar if I'm going to stay in this hotel.
Right, exactly.
So I was like, just don't drink. But I understand there are people that can't do that. I understand that,
and that's horrible. I feel really bad for that.
My heart breaks for them, and if they're in recovery, I would never want to do anything to fuck with their recovery. Having said that, you have to understand, I live in a world where you're not in control. Nothing's in control of me. Like I've done shoots recently where I have a beer in my hand and I take it to my lips and I don't drink it and I just pass it back. I go, no, I'm not drinking. And they're like, oh, are you okay around it? And I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit if anyone drinks.
Right.
Like I haven't also smoked weed yet, and I've been waiting to, and I've been wanting a reason to, and I'm looking forward to it. But I was just in a room where everyone was smoking pot, and I clearly probably got a contact buzz. But it didn't freak me out, and I didn't count it as not breaking a sobriety. I just was like, whatever, it's around me. It's not, I don't register things like that. And I have to say, I got into not a lot of trouble, but with one of our friends got really upset at one point because I said, I went on a podcast and I was like, if you're thinking about quitting drinking, if you have a problem, don't. Maybe you're the problem, not the alcohol. And a lot of people got upset.
Yeah.
And understandably, but I also kind of feel like I've known too many people that got sober but didn't fix it. And I mean, we have many of friends that, and I understand, would get sober, but they were fucking just as broken as they ever were. And you were dealing with that broken person, and you're like, it's not the alcohol's the issue. And there's dudes that I know that get sober and then they get into gambling, and then
or
get
there's
sober,
addictive
or get
personalities,
sex addiction, and there's so many of them in our business that I witnessed that and was like, yo, you're not my hero because you got sober. Like, I think, and I want to say this because this is the thing that's been bothering me. Too many people take their sobriety as like a police badge of authority of like, I'm sober, you should listen to what I'm saying. And I was like, yo, if you're listening to anyone that way, you're living your life wrong.
Right.
You cannot allow someone to have jurisdiction over you because they fucked up and they had to get sober because they sucked this dude's dick at a church event and everyone walked in because he was trying to get meth off of a masseuse. And then you're like, huh? I never did that. Like, what? All of a sudden now you got sober and you're like, you have a problem, Bert. And I'm like, no, the fuck I do. I don't.
Right.
Like, that's the thing that always rubbed me wrong was that, like, people would get sober and they would be like, now I'm the authority of what that is. And I was like, for you.
Yeah.
Just for you.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not judging or preaching to anybody. I'm just sharing my experience because it's super important, because I was just somebody that had fun and blah, blah, blah. I don't go, and that's kind of what I said earlier too, is that a lot of people were fucking coming down on me so hard. And not that they weren't right, but they went about it as like, you're a fucking mess. Fuck you. You can't drink again. You've got to stop right now. You can't. And I was so inundated with that it gave me so much anxiety that it made me go drink. I was like, I got to go to a fucking bar. Like, what is going on right now? And, that's why I'm just trying to share my story.
Your message for me, and I'm only speaking for me, Bert Kreischer, who has been drinking his whole adult life and will probably continue to drink the rest of it. I don't know what tomorrow looks like, but I'll just say your message always seemed approachable, relatable, fact-based, and empathetic.
100%.
I never felt like you were leading me down the wrong path. I felt like you were being honest. And I have to say this.
100%.
Same with Nick Thune. Nick Thune, who's sober, and I don't mean to out him.
Yeah, he's sober.
This
is fine.
Yeah. I'm not out him, but like, I don't want to speak for other people, but Nick Thune, the way he talks about not drinking, it makes it seem, I go, that's the story I want to hear.
Yeah.
I think what happens is, it's like, I'm trying to think of the right analogy, and I keep thinking of chefs or strippers, but you're talking about a group of people, that all are dealing with one thing, and everyone deals with it differently, but a group feels like they're dealing with it righter than the other people.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's fair.
I don't think it's fair. And also, by the way, if you see me out and about, I'll take a photo if you don't want a photo. But you can talk to me about drinking. I've had people come up to me, like, somebody who came up to me. I was at Lexington, Kentucky, and I was at a bar watching a game with my friends. And this woman next to me, I got a glass of water, and she goes, "Hey, that's really awesome." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "I know that you're sober and you just got water at the bar." And I go, "Yeah." And she's like, "Yeah, I've been dealing with shit." And she's like, "It's really cool that you're actually, just doing that." And I go, "Yeah." And then she fucking seriously just goes, "You know what? I'm not going to get another drink. I'm going to go home to my family." She's like, "I was dealing with some shit, and like seeing you just do that at the bar realizes like, what am I fucking," and she just closed out and then went home.
Just got in her car and
I just thought it was cool. And I really want that to be important, because I remember when I was in Key West, and this is such a moment that stuck with me, sitting at the bar, and I'm fucking hammered, and I'm fucking in a great mood. This couple comes up, and they go, "Nick Swardson," and I go, "Yes." They go, "We fucking love you. What are you doing?" I go, "Fucking getting hammered. You want a shot? Let's do a shot." And they're like, "Yeah," and blah, blah. And they're like, "So what's going on?" And I go, "I think I'm going to retire." And they go, "What do you mean?" And I go, "I quit, man. I did it. I've had a great life, blah, blah, blah." And I was 45 years old. And I go, I'm done. I don't want to do any movies and stand up. I think I'm tired. I'm done. I'm going to just get drunk. And they looked at me and they were like, "Oh." And I go, "Yeah." And they were like, they're like, "You're one of our favorite comics." They're like, "That would suck." And then I realized how fucking dumb I sounded.
Yeah.
And how fucking lame that was. And then that sat in my head, and that was one of the impetuses for me to get out of there. It's just like, I'm like, what am I doing? And like when you look at your life, if you're in your 40s and 30s and stuff like that, I mean, any age, but you want to just go into your life, especially the third act of your life. Go out fucking kicking ass, man. Just be the best husband, be the best wife, be the best father. Just do it all. And that's why you retire. And that's why, like, when I think about being 65 or close to 70, and I'm like, that's when fucking pedal to the metal, motherfucker. I'm going back to Key West and I'm putting a fire hose of vodka in my asshole. No, I'm probably not going to do that. But I just think about that, you know, just giving life your fucking 110%, man. Like, don't play pool with one arm. When you're drinking all the time, you're always behind the 8 ball, man. It's like, give it your best and then, you know, do it. I don't know. You can do it.
I think there's, I wish there was more research by Andrew Huberman and Brian Johnson and all these people about how to keep drinking and staying healthy. Like, I feel like I wish I had gone to med school just to.
Buddy, I did it. I tried it. I don't eat beets. I don't like beets. I now like beets. You want to know why, Bert?
Why?
Because somebody told me that they were great for your liver. And they said they flush out your liver and it's one of the best things for it.
Really?
So I fucking started eating beets and drinking beet juice. Now I love beets, but I never did. And that's the only reason. And all the stuff, all the supplements I took, everything I did was to keep drinking. I remember I would find out all these little nuggets of, like, somebody told me that when you wake up, drink 2 glasses of lukewarm water a day, right in the morning, pound 2 lukewarm glasses of water, and it'll hydrate your body for the day. And then you can drink and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I still do that. There was all these things, milk thistle, all these vitamins, all
I've been
these
on
things.
milk thistle for
I did all of
long
it, man.
time.
And I just so I could keep drinking. It was so absurd.
When was the last time you were at the doctor?
Not that long ago, probably a month ago for a checkup.
How great is it to not have anxiety going to the doctor?
Oh, yeah. Or lying. I mean, one of the best was, and this is a true story. I was in my 20s, and when you do a movie, you have to get a mandatory physical. You get a cast physical. So I go in, you got to fill it out, all the shit. It was said, how many drinks do you have? And I think I've told you this. And I wrote 12 drinks. And the doctor looks at it and he goes, oh my God, you have 12 drinks a week? And my fucking blood went out of my head. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, that's a lot, 12 drinks a week. And I just barely mumbled. And I just go, it's a day, 12 a day. And he goes, oh my God, you're hilarious. That's funny, man. 12 drinks a week. He didn't even acknowledge that was a real statement. And then I got scared that he didn't even acknowledge it. He thought it was hilarious that I said that it was a day. And I was dead fucking serious. And I was like, oh my God. And he was mortified that it was 12 a week. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking absurd. What am I doing?
10% of U.S. adults have experienced alcohol use disorder. By gender, men are severely impacted, with 12%, about 1 in 8, meeting the criteria for alcohol use disorder. I'm definitely an alcohol use disorder guy. I'm 100% an AUD, autistic, I think, as they call us.
What is alcohol use disorder? So that's abusing alcohol?
I don't know.
Okay.
Heavy drinkers are not
assumed.
necessarily alcoholics, although all alcoholics are heavy drinkers. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating, the kind of levels of all of it. Because I have friends that, have a couple drinks before they go to bed. You can still drink. We're not like saying nobody can ever drink again. It's just looking at your life and going, okay, am I drinking to the point where it's like bad? Am I not really realizing that there is a problem there?
When was the first time you think you probably missed the flag for a problem?
What do you mean?
Like, when was the first flag you think that you were like I can tell you the one time, if you could ever say one time where I was in college and I got a 12 pack and I took it to my room and my buddy Obi said to me, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to watch snowboard videos, smoke weed, and get drunk. And he was like, it's like Tuesday. And I went, yeah, I don't have shit tomorrow. He was like, you're just going to get drunk on a Tuesday? And I was like, yeah. I remember that conversation. And he was like, okay. I was like, what are you trying to do, man? And he was like, no, I'm just saying, normal people don't get drunk on a Tuesday. And I remember that conversation very vividly.
Right.
And I remember that. And I remember going like, not to say that had I put the 12 back in the fridge and I was like, let's go have a catch or something, that anything would have changed differently. But I definitely remember that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, when was like the first flag where you were like I'm sure the first time you flew into Denver and you had the gallstones, or not gallstones, pancreatitis. I'm sure that had to be a red flag. But
that was a fucking red flag the size of Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember early on, I remember being at the Improv Comedy Club in Hollywood, which I love, and I drank there so long. And I remember in my 20s, I was probably early mid-20s, and I remember Galifianakis, who was one of my best friends, my roommate in New York, and he drove to the club, and I was hammered, and he showed up, and I go, hey, Zach, hey, blah, blah. And he goes, can I talk to you? And I go, yeah, what's up? And he's like, are you okay? And I go, yeah, what are you talking about? And he's like, I drove here not to get a drink with you. I drove here to tell you that I am worried about you. And I think you're drinking too much. And I think you need to dial it down. He goes, that's all I'm going to say. And I go, yeah, blah, blah. And he goes, you get in your car, which is the fucking worst. And he goes, I know you drive home drunk. And he goes, I can drive you home right now. But he goes, I'm worried about you.
Zach
said that.
And by the way,
and this is the guy who I've been fucking shit-faced with. We used to eat pop brownies on the regular. I mean, we were fucking little, I mean, we weren't like fall down drunks, but I mean, we drank.
Zach was a drinker.
Yeah, but I remember that being one of the first moments where somebody said that to me, where it was like, they made an effort to go like, you're drinking too much.
So what's the best way to approach someone if someone's listening and going, this isn't me, but goddamn it, this is my brother, or this is my roommate, or this is my best friend? And I will simply say there is zero way to approach this, because I've had people come to me and say, I'm worried about you, and I've never heard it. It makes me angry. What's the best way that you think, in where you are today, to say to someone who's got a drinking problem or you're worried about them, what's the best way to go about approaching that subject?
It's very, 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 very tricky. It's really, really hard to do. I would honestly say, in all sincerity, I would show them this podcast. I would show them us talking very candidly about it. And I would say, listen to Nick Swardson. I would say, listen to somebody, see if this applies to you.
Do not listen to Bert.
Well,
fast forward his.
Don't. I mean, honestly, because I'm just telling the truth. If you think that you fall under that category of somebody that's a social drinker, but that it's gone too far, because I had so many people. I was lucky enough to come to this realization of giving a fuck about myself. And I came to that after so many people came up to me and so many people approached me, family, friends, doctors, and they were going, you're going to fucking die.
I never
did. If you keep doing this.
I never did.
Yeah. I mean, I
never
had.
Did. And I wanted to once, and I never did. And I don't regret it, because I now know, I mean, I know it, like, can I be very fucking real? There is such an arrogance in me thinking that my text to you is going to change you. I have to say that because I've had people text me that I'm not that close with, and I'm like, buddy, unless you're my wife or my kids, like,
right?
Can I tell you the worst?
Yeah,
I had to apologize to this guy. I sat down. I might have told you this. I think I'm certain I told you this. There was a guy who I was going to dinner with Tom and a couple people in New York. We were at the Soho Club, and he comes up and he's like, he goes, hey man, I'm worried about you. And I was like, don't fucking ever talk to me like that. I go, you're not my fucking wife. You don't fucking pay me. You're not my agent. And you're definitely not my fucking friend. So if you want to have an enjoyable night, sit the fuck down and order a drink and do not talk to me. And he was like, okay. And that's how I dealt with it. Because I was like, the arrogance that you think that, shout out to that was very cool of you. This is when I was like, I was on one. Right. And it was like, and I had a list. My thing with drinking really honestly is, and Leanne was saying this last night, I bite off way more than I can chew, and the way to get through it is I know that if I don't want to get on that flight, but if I drink, I can get on that flight. And I don't want to get and I know that if I have a drink, I'll get. And so I just get that as the tether to get me from tree to tree,
right?
To get me through like a 6-month run of Fully Loaded or the cruise or this or that. And this tour, another arena tour, another we're doing a movie, we're doing a TV show. And that's why when they told me I couldn't drink and I had to promote the TV show, I had the partnership with NASCAR, I had the partnership with South Beach Food and Wine Festival. I had all these brand deals and all these big deals going on. I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to get through this because that's how I worked.
Right.
And I was on a huge tour, getting ready for all this shit's going on, and came up and he was like, dude, I'm worried about you. That's all he said. That's all he said. He didn't say like, actually he'd sent me a text before, like saying, I'm worried about you, this and that and this and that. And then he saw me and was like, yeah, man, I'm worried about you. And I lost my shit on him. But
that's what happens. But it's a trigger because you don't want to be told what to do. Nobody wants to be told what to do.
No.
My fucking sister, love her. She would be like, hey, you have a fucking drinking problem. And I'd be like, you're on your 3rd marriage, you fucking you know what I mean? Like I would fucking lose it. So what I would say honestly to people, if you think somebody has an issue, and if you do have an issue, if you're listening to this, you've got to give a fuck about yourself and go, how much is alcohol controlling my life? And is this what I want to do? Because it's your life. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not going to tell people what to do. You can do whatever you want.
You can.
But is this what you want your life to be? Are you a slave to alcohol? Does it control your life? Does it dictate how you live your life? Just ask yourself those questions. That's all you have to do. Just put it on yourself and go, is this why I'm on this earth? Is to be a fucking fuck up and miss shit and forget shit and, roll the dice when I, do shit. It's just like, there's a world out there that's not scary. You can honestly do it.
I think the best thing you can do if you're worried about someone, this is the only thing that's ever really worked for me, is, when I was partying, probably one of my hardest, we did Sober October with Rogan and Tom and Ari.
I remember hearing about this. Didn't Stanhope try to do it?
I think he did.
He made it like 3 days.
He had to do the tin can rehab, so he had to drink a certain amount of beers to stay.
That's the thing.
Healthy.
He's a major drinker.
But that challenge and making it a part, like a Sober October, a dry January, making it a challenge, and for us putting something physical into it, because the physicality is what you need. And this is, from my perspective, is that, when I stopped drinking this run, I was like, I would find myself at like 6 o'clock at night going, what am I going to do? Like right now the sun's setting and now's when I want to drink. I would just throw on shoes and get on the treadmill, start on a documentary and just go, I'm going to walk until it gets dark. Yeah. I'm going to go for a jog. Physicality for me has always been my get through. And I got to be honest with you, I wonder if it's why, I don't know. Physicality for me has always been I get up in the morning and I work out no matter how hard I drank every fucking day.
That's the thing, is I never did that.
I did that. I do that.
I never.
I haven't done it. By the way, working out sober is so fun.
Right.
It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
It's like fucking people you don't love versus fucking people you love. It's totally different.
Exactly.
Like I worked out today and I was crushing it. And I was like, God damn it, I feel fucking healthy. And that feels good. And then you
eventually get addicted to being healthy.
Yeah.
And also, and it's really important what you said, is time. Time is so important because filling time, when you do quit drinking, when it is a part of your routine, you've got to fill that time. So you've got to find things to do, even little things, even things that don't even make sense, that you don't think are a big deal. Make a list of what you're going to do every day. And just so you have a schedule, just so you have things, but like learn something new, watch movies, just do documentaries, whatever you want.
Take a TMJ, is it TMJ?
Is that for your jaw?
Yeah.
TMJ is.
Take a TMJ class.
Take a jaw class. Whatever Bert's.
TMD, Transcendental Meditation.
TMZ?
TMZ. Take TMZ.
But watch TMZ.
But when
Find things to do to fill your time. Very important.
But I will say, the first time I ever quit drinking for any extended period, ever, we're talking from 25 to a grown-up, was Sober October. And it was because I think Joe was worried about me, but they didn't make me feel bad about it. And they were all doing it, even though Tom never drinks. And Joe was like, he had to quit smoking pot, which was tough for him. And then that made it really fun. And then we partied that last night, we all partied together. Or me and Ari did in New Orleans. And then we would have this reunion where we get together and have beers. But that month off is really good for you. And it is, if you haven't taken time off and you're worried about someone, or that camaraderie was really,
super
worked
important.
For me. It worked for me. And that's the easiest way to say is like, we should do dry January. We should try Sober October.
Right.
Let's do create a fun adventure. Let's do 7 for 7 for 7, which means we won't drink for 7 days. We're going to do 7 hours of exercise in total of the 7 days, and we're going to fuck 7 times or whatever it is, you know? But that challenge for me, I'm just saying for me.
No, I think that's a good thing to give yourself go, if you want to even take it day by day, but if you want to go a week, I'm going to do it a week and then see what you feel like after a week, but challenge yourself in month increments too. Just be like, okay, let's see if I can do January. And then when you look at February, be like, you know what? See, I bet you I can fucking do it.
You can do February.
And you can do February. And then you can and then also the thing that's really funny, and people know this that quit drinking, is when you're around people that are a fucking shit show. When you're sober and it's St. Patrick's Day or Cinco de Mayo or whatever the fuck, you're just like, you look around and you're like, oh my God. You just see people. I mean, being sober in Vegas is fucking hilarious. Being sober in New Orleans is hilarious because you're like, oh my God. Like, I'm not that person that's vomiting on the street or whatever. It's just, I don't know, man. I really wish everyone the best. I just want us all to be alive and to laugh together and have fun. And it's just, again, to reiterate, it's not as scary as you think it is. It's actually really, really great.
Hang on. It is when it starts, especially if it's like when it's doctor appointed, it's really scary.
It's very scary at first. And it's difficult at first. And but it gets easier. It really, really does. It
does get easier. And then it gets so easy that you actually sit and wonder how you didn't always see it was this easy.
Yeah. You'll still think about it. I'm not saying you're not going to think about it.
I was telling you downstairs, I was like, I'll bring this up. I have been waiting. I've been looking for a time to drink. Like I was like, because I got really confused in I stopped drinking and for like a month I wasn't happy. I was upset. I was angry almost that I had to do this.
Yeah.
And all I could see is that everyone seemed like everyone was having drinks. It didn't bother me. It didn't trigger me, but I was like, so it's everywhere. So everyone's doing this, and now I'm not allowed to because I have a blood clot. And then like a month and a half in, I started smiling for the first time, like really started smiling. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I was told I could smoke weed because the blood clots in my lungs were gone. And I was like, well, I don't need it. And I was like, I don't need it. So I'm not going to do it if I don't need it. And then I got to this really confusing place of like, all right, so now I'm like 3 months, 4 months in, and I'm not technically missing it, but I don't want it out of my life. So then I got to figure out when are you supposed to drink? Like I broke that governor of like, when does a normal person drink?
Right.
Like when I broke the governor, and that is I drank whenever I didn't want to be somewhere. So that's when I drink. And then I just found that there were a lot of places I didn't want to be. And then I just drank a lot. So I was like, yo, just checking into a hotel room. Let's see what the bar's got, Oh, we got done the show. Let's see if the bar's open. Let's find a dive bar that's, I just found a reason to drink all the time.
Yes, there's always a reason.
Yeah. And then I started going like, so wait, so I don't need it, meaning I don't need alcohol anymore other than when planes when I really want it. But I don't need it. I don't need it to go to bed. I don't need an edible to go to bed. I don't need anything to go to bed. I go to bed really great. I sleep pretty great. I don't need it to hang out with my friends. I don't need it to have dinner with my wife. So I go, so when are you supposed to drink? Like, I really got confused about that.
Yeah.
I was like, I enjoy a baseball game. I don't need it then. I like kind of getting in the car and driving home.
Yeah.
And not having to Uber and then Uber. And
yeah.
and then you start going, wow. So life's pretty easy, sober. Like, I can, and then I was like, so when do I need it? When do I want it? When does it fit in? And the other day, and this is the first time that it reared its head like 5 times. I got an offer to go out on a yacht. And everyone grabbed a beer the second we got on the boat. And it was like noon. And I was like, and I did have a show that night. So in a weird way, I know that I would have only gotten up to the buzz and stopped and then taken a nap and done the show. But I like 5 times I thought, I want to drink today. I want to drink.
Right.
Didn't want to smoke weed, but I want to drink. Every time I looked at a beer, I was like, God damn, man, I could go for a drink. And then I started going like, does anyone have a candy bar or something? Like, I was like, but that was the first time in 4.5 months that I realized, okay, so then there will be times when I want it. And I was like, okay, I wonder if I can do that in life.
Right.
Is go, I don't want it. I don't need it. But if I'm on a yacht and I have that feeling, I'll have a beer. But I don't know. I actually ended up getting on the phone with Leanne saying I need to be in really aggressive therapy and that I need to take mushrooms and figure all this out. That's where I'm at today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's also thinking like, what is drinking going to enhance? Like, is it going to make, you know how many fucking concerts I've been to that I don't remember? How many football games, how many baseball games, how many basketball games? So many things where I was like, so many great dinners I've had that I was drunk, don't even taste it. There's just so many things where I'm like, this isn't enhancing anything. This isn't making anything better.
No.
Like, you should just be who you are, which is scary to a lot of people. But, alcohol does relax people and it does blah, blah, blah. But you don't need it to survive. It's like I said, there's a world there without it. And it's
the world right now is cutting back on alcohol. I mean,
that's wild. Alcohol sales are down across the board everywhere.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that.
Yeah. Yep. We know, Bert.
I think I quit drinking and I feel like the world quit drinking with me. I feel like I have to single-handedly put alcohol back on the map.
Oh, no.
I'm trying
Kool-Aid,
to get,
man.
this podcast is fucking my business. I got to fucking get people back drinking.
That was my goal. No, I don't say I'm sober because I'm releasing a line of edibles. So
Are you really?
yeah, edibles really help me.
Oh, that was one of my number one Bertisms of like where I tell you my truth was like, yeah, I'm sober. And I remember I was like, the longest I went sober was probably 3 months. First of all, it was 88 days. I have an app that tracked it. 88 days. And I did the math. I started smoking weed 12 days in.
Yeah.
I was never. So Leanne would just sit there and listen to me and like roll her eyes behind my back and be like, sober, huh?
Yeah, that's why I don't say I'm sober because I take edibles before I want to go to bed. Not all the time, but
how often? Does that ever get tricky? Of like, well, guys, it's 5 o'clock. I'm gonna eat an edible. I just take them to go to bed.
no. I mean, again, like I'm not pushing my edibles. It did help me. I would take it like 10 o'clock at night. Take 5 milligrams. It's got lion's mane, ashwagandha. They're really good for you. Very decompressing, good for your brain. Lion's mane's fucking amazing. Great for your heart. And so I would just take them to just kind of calm down because even like, and this is not for everybody at all, but it just, at the end of the day, I was still like fucking wound up and this would just kind of naturally like ease me down. And I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, I don't want to get dependent on
I never
anything.
had that problem. I
Oh my God, my mind was fucking, like I would always be thinking of a million things.
I go into the bedroom and I put on a podcast about cheese or JCPenney. And my mind just turns off, and I go.
Do you buy your cheese at JCPenney?
Ever since they shut down.
That's a whole nother podcast we'll talk about.
I wish I had
Bert's cheese addiction at JCPenney.
My problem with me is I learn things, and then I end up making everything confusing for everybody. because I learned something and I slide it into a conversation and they're like, cheese and JCPenney. I'm like, never mind. I just saw
You
it.
have no idea. I love it. Well, I love you.
What did we not touch on this? Is there anything you want to share? Like, I feel like we need a good, like, we should do a public service announcement real quick. Just to
I
end
think
the
we just did
podcast.
2 hours of it.
Okay.
I don't want to like. I feel bad because I wasn't like super hilarious, and that's like and I'm not gonna like every podcast, every interview. I'm not gonna preach to people. I'm not gonna just hammer this. This was a really important one for me, and I didn't want to be too jokey because there's a fun side to it, but what I'm trying to convey is very serious, and I take it seriously. And we could go back and forth with how many fucking stories we have of drinking. But I just want this, I just really wanted this to be very succinct and very important. And I hope this helps people.
Can we do a podcast in, July? Can we do a podcast in maybe August or September?
Yeah.
When I've started drinking again.
Totally.
To see where I am.
Yeah, totally.
And it's going to be this. I mean, it's going to be, I'm back to the same old.
Yeah, I can't wait.
There's no.
I mean, I
would love to start that podcast with a beer in my hand and go, Nick, it's not for me. Just put it off to the side.
And you're in a full diaper and I have Coke all over my face. It's just the wheels off podcast. No, I'll be promoting my new movie. My whole goal is just to get comedy back in the theater. Everyone's we want comedy back, so everyone's doing their best.
Well, David Spade and Theo's fucking movie.
Yeah, totally. I went opening weekend. I mean, I just... I've got my movie, like I said, me and Covert wrote the but After Grandma's Boy. So we'll wrap that and then I'll talk about that. So yeah, we'll come back and check in with you.
You do me a favor. If you do fall off the wagon, call me.
Call you. You know how many fucking people have said that to me? So many people have been supportive and they're like, but if you do, let's just say if you did.
No, what I'll do. No, what I'll do.
Fucking get on the horn.
I'm going to get, if you fall off the wagon, I'm going to come in and I'm going to roofie you. Yes. And I'm going to put you in a fucking ambulance and I'm going to take you to rehab.
Did you say roofie me or root for me?
Roofie you.
Oh, okay.
I'll do both. I'll root for you while
As I'm roofied?
You. I rooted for her. God damn it. You're not allowed to root for anybody? Oh, you rooted for her. I would love to do. I've had people fall off the wagon and do podcasts with them. And look, here's the deal, Nick. To be very honest, if we're going to be very honest and not goofy and funny, I am your friend, and I want you to be happy. That's all, and that's all. I have no vested interest in you other than your health, so that you can be around, so that when I see you, I smile. That's it. That's a narcissistic view. Is like I just want you to be happy and healthy, so that I get more of you in my life.
Right. That's not narcissism. That's honesty.
Yeah, talk to my wife's fucking therapist.
Well, yeah. No, I love you too.
I love you, Nick.
And I'm glad that we're still here and we'll continue to be here.
Yeah. Both of us are sober today.
Yep, today. And then also, Bert and I, we're going to announce we're going to doing Eat, Pray, Love too. Me and Bert.
What if we do Eat, Pray, Love, Drink?
Eat, Pray, Love, Drinking. We'll see. That'll be our cocoon. All right. I love you. Thanks for having me. We did it. Yeah, that was great.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.